Well, okay, so from enlightenment, let's talk about science, because that's a big part of your book, okay? You'd say that religion stops critical thinking, reason, and science, right? So this is why you say, quote, "This is why progressive thinkers despise religion. It actually stops progressive thinking. If you did not have a book that said Adam and Eve were the first humans, you would not be lagging in the invention of modern vaccines that could not have been invented without the understanding of evolution." This is on page 9.
Yeah.
Of course, the first successful vaccine was pioneered by Edward Jenner, who said that he was motivated by God and his belief in God for that. There was a precedent for vaccines in the Ottoman Empire. The COVID vaccine recently was...
You understand the irrationality in that. Yeah, but you understand the
Oh,
irrationality in that. Yeah.
Okay, but hold on, my friend. Let me just say this.
You cannot believe in Adam and Eve and believe in evolution simultaneously. You cannot.
I believe in evolution, and I
No. I'm saying you... Oh, and you also believe in Adam and Eve?
I believe it's an allegory. I've already said this very
publicly. Oh, yeah. So that's fine. So Javad, I'm with you. I'm about to agree with you.
My friend, hold on. But let me just finish the point, and then you can... Because I need to present the argument, right? So then you say that religion actually blocks science. You say, quote, "Science is an alternative that gives us answers rather than mystifying the natural world and natural processes that religion has told us not to think about." Okay? So then you present this idea that religious people are all fideists, all right? That they all just believe this is what the text says. Now I close my mind. There's no reason and rationality. But this is not a fair picture of the Christian tradition or the Islamic tradition. Okay, for example, in Christianity, there was always the understanding of faith-seeking understanding. Not only that, but the origins of modern science go back, and science in general has religious origins. The idea of a monotheistic God is what allowed for the existence of uniform natural laws. Many physicists agree with this, including the one you yourself mentioned, Dr. Kaku. Religion is what created a book culture around which this kind of learning and knowledge took place. And religious thinkers, far from saying that religion blocked them from doing science, they actually said that belief in religion is what compelled them to do science. They would quote, for example, that this is God's handiwork. They would call, for the Bible, they would quote Psalm 19. "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." So they believed, these medieval Christians, that we study the universe in order to know God. This was the same view that was espoused throughout Islamic history. Do you deny, for example, Ibn Rushd? He said that the Quran itself says to reflect on the universe around you.
Ibn Rushd's belief in God is very questionable.
So that is
Ibn
false.
Rushd, yes, no, it's not. Okay. There is no direct literature.
He has written many books. Have you read a single book by Ibn
Rushd? But they haven't survived. They've been written by secondary sources. Those books haven't survived.
You're not correct, my friend. Okay, he has many books that are written. He literally defends God. He has a proof for the existence of God. You've once again done to him what you do to all these Enlightenment thinkers and create this mythical understanding in your brain. You can't go online and search for this because the internet is not the right place to search. Right? He has proofs for the existence of God. He literally says, he quotes the Quran. He says, "Have they not contemplated the dominion of the heavens and the earth and what things God has created?" And then he says, this is Ibn Rushd. He says, "Existing things indicate the artisan," he's talking about God, "only through cognizance of the art in them. And the more complete the cognizance of the art in them, the more complete is cognizance of the artisan." So he is basing his belief that we need to study the world and science and philosophy based on his religious belief. And this is what all of the Islamic philosophers and natural scientists believed, the natural philosophers believed. So there was a viewpoint in Islamic history that said that...
There's a Stanford encyclopedia, and I'm reading that.
Okay,
most of his work has been lost while readers await the day of their rediscovery. They must generally make do with medieval translation in Hebrew or Latin.
That's correct. There are translations that are...
He has
Arabic. He has multiple Arabic texts. He has 3 Arabic texts that are just on religion and philosophy. He has a huge corpus. So you're saying that in this mysterious corpus that you don't know, perhaps he didn't believe in God.
Okay, I'm not an expert in that. Okay,
but I am. So I am an expert on that. Okay.
Then talk to me. Talk to me as if I'm your student. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not an expert on Ibn Rushd, and I don't.
So what I'm trying to say is that throughout Islamic history, there was a huge advances that were made in science. This is not limited.
I get it. Okay, I get it. I got your point. You've been talking nonstop for the last 5 minutes.
Okay, but then I'll just close. Not 5 minutes, but let me just close with that one sentence. Okay, the Islamic science thrived for 1,000 years. Okay, and it was on the basis of their religious convictions that these people engage in science. We know that because they said it, and they would often be theologians. Most of them were theologians. Some of them were faqiihs. Some of them were literally legal jurists.
I got your point.
Similarly, in medieval Christendom, they were men of the church. You say in your book,
drag it back.
So if religion blocks science,
yes.
What do you say about the
I've already told
1,000 years of history?
Because
that tell you otherwise.
Okay. No, it doesn't tell me otherwise. It gives me exceptions. They're not the rule, they're exceptions.
And by the way, the Stanford Dictionary says, with important exceptions, most of his works are available in the original Arabic.
Yes, okay, fine. With the so let's get back to the original point that you're saying that, okay, I'm saying, let's steelman my own position. I'm saying religion leads you away from science. You're giving me these, you're quoting these little people, these people, influential people here and there, both in the Christian world and in the
entire tradition, sir.
No, not the entire tradition. Come on,
Ghazali.
Okay, let me finish the point.
What about Ghazali?
Ghazali said women are made to serve women, and
what does that have to do with science?
And it needs it leads you the worldview that if you follow, and these are brilliant people, if they're looking at the same text that you're looking at, Hadith, critically, Quran, maybe metaphorically, they're coming at different conclusions which have real life consequences, which create societies around us, the societies that we are still stuck in the 21st century. Let me tell you something. Why? Because if I read this, if I'm a Muslim, and this is the reason why majority of Muslims are not like you, they're like, Dr. Isar Ahmed, that kind of Muslims, okay, or Salafi, or Wahhabis, or Deobandis, or Brelvis, or superstitious people who believe in flying donkeys and all that, okay? When you look at this one, okay, this is Sahih Bukhari. It says, if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife...
You're scattergunning now. You're scattergunning.
No. I'm making a specific point. This is religion and science. If a man has sexual intercourse with his wife and gets discharged first, the child will resemble the father, and the woman gets discharged first, the child will resemble her. Okay, this is, and this is just one example. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, he said, okay, where is it? Give me a sec. Let me give you another one. Dates and poison, right? And one Muslim scholar even drank rat poison, apparently, which I don't believe it. I heard Allah's messenger say, whoever takes 7 dates in the morning will not be affected by magic or poison on that day. And I can go on and on about these scientific claims that these people make, and they have real life consequences. Now you tell me, okay, Abdul Salam was an Ahmadi Muslim. Hang on,
my friend.
I listened to you for 10 minutes. Please let me make my point. I know that this is your weak point, because once I start opening your literal text, this becomes really embarrassing, because you guys complicate things. It is. Also, this is not embarrassing. I'm sure it's embarrassing. This is a reason why you run away from it.
This is embarrassing if I believe
you believed in it.
Yeah,
exactly. But you're not. But majority of Muslims do believe in that, and I'm addressing. My book is addressing that. My activism is addressing those people. You can say. You can
continue. Just continue your point, and so that I can respond, please.
Okay.
We are having. Agreed, we're having a good discussion, correct? These are difficult topics. We're having a good discussion, my friend. Okay, I saw you have debates with your friend, is it Armin? Yeah. You guys get into it too. So
we get into it. Okay.
Friendly, okay.
So yeah,
we can have a virtual.
I wish I had known a little bit about you. I mean, I barely watched any of your videos or read anything from you, but I'm just going with this. I'm just basically going blind and just going by what I already know. And this is why I did not want it to be a debate with the moderator, so I actually can see your point. Because one thing that actually fascinates me about you don't like that term, but
no, I don't mind the term, my friend. Okay. I follow philosophical religion, which goes
right,
the very beginning of
it
Islam.
Keeps changing. Yeah.
Because these are academic terms. These are academic terms.
22nd century modernists would be different from you. So let's just go back.
Just like you believe in progress, right?
Yeah, I do. But my worldview doesn't. My worldview is not against that. Your worldview should be, because
my view.
God sent.
Okay.
We're getting distracted. We're getting distracted. I'm going to forget my original point.
Okay. You were talking about the texts, how they're embarrassing and they are bad scientifically, etc. So you made that point. Can I respond to that?
No. I haven't even made that point. No, I haven't even made that point. I'm saying because you keep going back to addressing my book. First of all, it's 5 years old. Since then, I've actually found a lot more flaws in Islam. And maybe I need to do another book on that and then be more specific in all the embarrassing bits. When I say in that book the part that you quoted, you're right. I say that a lot of interesting, intelligent people also believe in God. So I'm not saying holistically they're stupid, but on that particular idea, they are wrong and dare I say, irrational as well. So you say, oh, hang on a second, Haris. If that was the case, how can, these theists come up with vaccines, for example? So I say, we just said earlier.
That's not the argument I made. That's not the argument I made.
Sorry.
I made the argument that I made was you are saying that religion blocks people from science. And what I'm telling you is you have the whole of history.
Yeah, this is what I said.
Tell you otherwise.
No.
So for example, okay. So Harith, let me answer 2 points now. Okay. Number one is you yourself said in your book that you said this strange thing in your book where you said that the church kept scientists captive. I have the quote if you want. I
spoke about Galileo and Michael Servetus, and
so there's a book called Galileo Goes to Jail: The Myth of the Conflict Between Religion.
Yeah, I know, but so you're counting on disagreement. You're counting on disagreement. There's a lot of scholars who agree that he was shown a backbreaker, whatever that torturous method is. He was shown this.
My friend, there is no credible historian of science who now believes in the conflict.
I'm not going to take your word for it. Let's just go.
Okay,
Michael Servetus was burnt at stake. Giordano Bruno was burnt at stake. Was he not burnt at stake?
This is literally in the book. You should read it.
Giordano Bruno not burnt at stake?
It's in the book. It's in the book. Just read the book. Okay?
Is he burnt at stake? I'm asking you a question. You're a historian, right? You're an academic.
I'm not a historian of that period, so I don't want to misspeak.
Giordano Bruno.
Look, I'm very careful in what I say. So when I say something, I want to be precise. Okay? So therefore, when it's talking about this topic, I ask you to go look at History for Atheists.
Giordano Bruno, Michael Servetus.
There's a guy who specializes in this.
Yeah, but there's another guy who specializes who disagrees.
But there's a difference between real historians and people who are pop writers. So, okay, but Haris.
My point.
Can I respond to?
Let's go back. No, I haven't even addressed the point.
But you said about the hadiths and that stuff. So can I respond?
No. Yeah, you can come to that. That there was a reason why I showed the hadith. So I haven't formulated my whole argument. So you're saying that okay, and you're saying that okay. How about all these Christian theists and I don't think you have any Muslim example, but maybe you might find some.
A Muslim example of what? Sorry.
Who have contributed towards scientific discoveries. Yes, Ibn Sina. Yeah, no.
In history?
I'm joking.
You're joking, right?
I'm joking, of course.
Like you know that they are the ones who advanced science.
The golden age. The golden age. Yes. Okay.
No. The golden age is a myth. The golden age is constraining it to 200, 300 years. For example, Neil deGrasse Tyson falls into
yes, Ghazali argument. I know I don't buy that argument.
In reality, okay, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, you're speaking like you didn't even let me speak to the point. You showed those hadiths. You shared screen.
I haven't even even told you why I showed that.
Okay,
I haven't even told you why I showed that.
So please.
I'm addressing your primary.
Stay on point, please.
I'm addressing your previous point that you quoted from my book, and I'm trying to address that. Okay, I might be wrong.
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
I might be wrong. There's a couple of positions in my book that I've actually revised my position. For example, the Sweden rape cases and all that. I've revised a couple of things. Okay.
Sure.
I take pride in changing my worldview.
We all make mistakes. There's no problem.
Yeah, but so far I haven't what you have pointed out yet. Okay, so
okay.
So I'm saying, and this is the point that I made earlier, that religious people can turn off their religious mind. Certain bits they can turn it off, and then they can look at it holistically. When I say that religion blocks science, is that what I wrote, or I said religious people? I think I said religious people. So maybe it needs a bit tweaking. I say religion. If I look at religion, the philosophy of religion is actually against scientific discovery. There's a hadith. There's even a Quranic verse that says that don't ask that many questions because you may go astray. Allah doesn't answer you these questions. The whole mood, and again, majority of Islamic scholars have also understood it that way. For example, there's a famous hadith, Bukhari hadith. Allah says, Muhammad says, if someone asks you, hang on a second, I know you don't believe in that, but I'm making a bigger.
I get your point, my friend. Like,
no, but it's not just for you; it's for other people as well.
Yeah.
It's for other people as well.
You're just trying to shock talk and not allow me to.
No, it's for other people. It's for Jawad. It's for other people as well.
Okay, can you wrap it in one sentence now?
No, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. I need to elaborate on that point. Because what the point that I'm discussing in the book, this is a critique of my book, basically. So the point I'm addressing, I'm tweaking that if there's misunderstanding. I need to clarify that. The mood of religion, especially Islam, discourages you from learning new things. Now, you can find examples. You can say, okay, but so-and-so brilliant people did that despite being religious. Okay, that's fine. My argument, my response to that is those people turn off their religious mind in that moment, and then they go ahead with that. Francis Collins is another example. It is a guy who decoded human DNA. There's a famous hadith. A man asked Prophet Muhammad, who created God? He said, then Prophet Muhammad did not bring out the contingency argument or the necessary being. He said, when someone asks you this, recite this this dua, which said something like, oh God, save me from that, and so and so. When people question, when Prophet Muhammad makes the grafting case, that, okay, if you do grafting, people did not question him. He made a scientific claim. He makes a scientific claim that 7 dates would save you from poison. Ironically enough, he dies from poison. So I'm talking about the mood, the overall mood. If I'm not everyone is as blessed, as intelligent as you, doctor. No ordinary Muslims can't be as academic as you are. When they look at this, when they read this, when they look at the clergy, when they look at thousands upon thousands of clerics, they also understand Islam the way I have understood it, and that discourages you from going into scientific discoveries. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, thank you so much. So now I need my time to respond to this, okay? So your argument in a nutshell can be rehabilitated in such a way that I actually agree with it, which is religious dogmatism and fundamentalism and literalism can block a scientific mind. I agree with this. This is no disagreement here, okay? So if you take texts super literally, this can be problematic. However, throughout Islamic history, the dominant viewpoint, this was held, by the way, by the traditionalists as well. Ghazali came up with it and Razi followed it as well, Fakhruddin al-Razi, was that if anything from a revelatory text contradicted what we know through reason for sure, that is scientific fact as we would call it today, then we take an allegorical, a figurative interpretation of the text. This was a viewpoint held by the Islamic theologians and by the Islamic philosophers, who are the very people who passed down our Islamic intellectual tradition. It was not the person who was on the donkey cart,
Why is it not a widely held belief then?
But my friend,
why is it not a widely held belief?
Okay, that's a great question, and I'm glad that you see now we're having a real conversation.
No, but this is
I still need a few minutes to respond, but we're having a good conversation. So thank you for asking that. This is the gripe that I have, my friend, when what happened is in the modern period, there was a contraction of Islamic thoughts. I didn't know this, by the way, until I studied Islamic tradition in the Western University. I learned at the hands of non-Muslim scholars who taught me my own tradition that I was distanced and broken away from.
Was it fringe though?
Wait, my friend, it was not fringe. It was held by all of the Islam. I need to finish though, please, and then you can respond, because we're having a good conversation. This was the dominant viewpoint amongst Islamic theologians and Islamic philosophers. In the modern period, you have the rise of Wahhabism, which was also a fringe movement that was then propagated by petrodollars. And then you had the rise also of the very conservative Deobandi movement in India and Pakistan, or the subcontinent at that time. These movements are what caused this shift and contraction of Islamic thought. Now, the other point I want to make is that you say that religion blocks science, but clearly it does not, if throughout Christian and Islamic and Jewish history, all of the leading scholars were men of religion, to the point where scholars have written that almost all of them were men of the church or legal jurists. For example, you say Ibn Rushd, maybe he didn't believe in God. My friend, he was a Maliki jurist. He was literally, he has written a legal text on Islamic fiqh. So the point is that from a historical perspective, your theory is proven false. And if you say that it's not, wait, hold on, my friend, let me finish and then you can talk, okay? You have said that religion blocks science, but what I'm trying to tell you is that it's only religious literalism and fundamentalism that blocks science. And if you say that I'm going to discard all of these people of history, which was, we're talking about 1,000-year history.
I get it.
Wait, hold on. I need to finish.
You got your point. I got your point.
I let you speak, Haris. I let you speak. So
no, you didn't. If we're gonna measure, you've talked.
I did. Okay.
All right, wrap it up.
No, I am wrapping it up, my friend. Just like I asked you to wrap it up before, and you said no, but I'm going to say yes. I will wrap it up, okay? Because I like you. All right. So, and by the way, I do like you. By the way, I actually think that you're a congenial guy, and I want to have a congenial conversation with you. Okay, so yeah. I want that out there. Okay.
I hope you like me more after today.
I like engaging conversations. I have no problem.
I do think that there's a lot of.
We're going to have a halal beer. I'm gonna have a lot. I do have frustration with your.
I do. You and Khalil, I'm shocked.
With your ideology, but not as you as a person.
Okay? No. That's fine. My ideology has a reason.
But hold on. Hold on, my friends.
Let's wrap it up.
So I am wrapping it up, but don't be rude, man. That's kind of snappy. No, I will. Come on, man. Okay. So the point is that if you say that I'm not going to look at the fact that all these Enlightenment thinkers, all of these great natural science philosophers, which are what we call scientists in history, even into the modern period, were all religious, and they themselves said that they were motivated by their religion and their belief that I'm investigating God's handiwork. If you discard all of that, then your theory, the narrative that you've constructed, the theory is unfalsifiable. And for somebody then to say that I am this rational, new atheist thinker, I don't do superstition, I'm scientific, but when you create this narrative myth that's unfalsifiable, that goes against the very spirit of what you're saying.
Okay.
So I have specific quotes here if you want, where I'll show you that historians of science acknowledge that all of these scientists that we call today were religious.
Yeah, okay. Again, we have never denied that. We have no problem with that. That argument can be summed up very simply. Religious people can turn off their religious mind, and then they can look.
But they themselves are saying that they're turning on their religious mind.
No.
They're saying that it's their religion.
We know that.
What about Abdus Salam?
Abdus Salam said.
I'm talking about 1,000+ year history.
Listen, I'm telling you about a religious mind, how they can turn off certain bits and then they can turn on. Abdus Salam, after his theory, which he won the Nobel Prize with Steven Weinberg, Feynman. He said that I opened the Quran, I read it, and I came up with this. There's an Indian mathematician, Ramunujan. He said that a Devi, he's considered the guy who knew infinity. There's this Devi. She used to tell me at my nighttime what these mathematical theorems are, and then he said that he credited his Devi. We know religious people behave that way, and I go back to it again. That I'm looking at the philosophy of religion itself. And we have agreed that this is Islamic literalism, dogmatism, fundamentalism. Now, we agree on that must cause it. My argument is that when I look at the Muslim world, this is all I see. You guys are, I'm sorry to say, it's not an insult to you. You're my ally in that part alone. You are a fringe. Nobody takes you seriously. I'm sorry. Academically, maybe, like you can write your wonderful books and, like you can sit in your fancy classroom and you could say in armchair interviews or whatever, and I wish you best of luck and I hope it happens. But majority of Muslims are not like that. And so when I'm addressing this, and you get, this is how bad it is. Like, and I apologize to you that I did not factor in Muslims like yourself. I did not go into Farabi. I didn't go into Farahi school of thought, apparently, which is very enlightened. I did not go into that because atheists don't take that seriously. Neither do traditionalist Muslims. Now, here's a point that you made, and I'm not an expert on that. I'm not going to argue with you any further than that because it doesn't discredit my position. You say, well, this is what we see around us is Wahhabism and what the fundamental. So basically, you're making an argument that before Wahhabism, Muslims were more enlightened as a civilization than what they are today. I would give you some basic surface level examples, and that just slaps the argument down. There was no abolition of slavery in the preceding, in this so-called enlightened or soft version of Islam, pre-Wahhabism. Let's just call it pre-Wahhabism.
Can I respond to this?
No, you can't. No, you can't. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
Let me
scattergunning, but okay, go ahead.
No, I'm not scattering.
We were talking about science. Now you're going to silly.
I've already answered that. No, I've already answered the science part. That people can turn off. People can turn off their brain, and then they can get on with it.
But they themselves are.
I don't care what they say. I just quoted you Abdus Salam and Ramajan. They both had nothing to do with the Quran. His quantum field theory had nothing to do with the Quran. But he said it. It doesn't matter what they say.
Throughout Islamic history and Christian history, the church is the one that produced the scientists, what you call scientists today. The people who created in the Islamic world were theologians, jurists. Like that is the people who they were all men of religion. So when you say it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It is falsifiable. Look.
Because you just say that it doesn't matter what they say. Like
it doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you acknowledge? So you're saying that we fall from a point, and now in the modern period, I agree with that. If you look at science, for example, you can take a quote of Dalal in the book Islam, Science, and the Challenge of History. This is a historian of science. He writes, until the rise of modern science, no other civilization engaged as many scientists, produced as many scientific books, or provided as varied and sustained support for scientific
We have examples.
Than the Islamic world.
The church was against Michael Servetus, Giordano Bruno, and I know Galileo, you're giving conflicting evidence. We have evidence. There's a lot of historians who actually disagree with that position.
So when it comes to, there are books on this issue, like they're called, you in your book, you say the word Dark Ages, right? You should know that there's now been disproved by historians of science. There's a book that's literally called The Light Ages by Falk. There's the book, The Genesis of Science, How the Christian Middle Ages Launched the Scientific Revolution by Hanam. There's Galileo Goes to Jail, the book I told you about. There's Islamic Science and the Making of the European Renaissance by George Salaba. There's The House of Wisdom by Jim Khalili, if you want a more popular book. These are books that you should read, my friend.
I like Jim Khalili, by the way. And yes, I do agree that a lot of I still go with the golden age period. I don't call it a myth.
And like Galileo himself was a religious thinker. So probably was Bruno, I believe. He was a Platonist.
Yeah. But he was burned at stake, man. Come on.
But the point I'm trying to say is that there is another side. There's another option.
I know that. I've already counted that point. This is for the fourth time I'm saying that we know that religious people can turn off their religion for a moment. You cannot believe in Adam and Eve theory. And I get it. You can turn that into allegory. You can look at it as a metaphor, right? This is one of your coping mechanism that, okay, you know what? Adam and Eve is a metaphorical story. It's not a literal story. Now I can get on with my evolution experiment and I can believe into evolution. Okay. But this is a coping mechanism. And this is what I mean by when I say that people can turn off their religious mind and then they can turn on the scientific mind. Fair enough. I'm all for you. Well done. Good luck. Keep turning off your religion and this dates hadith or Allah's thrown under the water or whatever. You can go with that, turn that into a metaphor and get on with your scientific revolution. I'm with you on that. Again, the argument that I have made in the book that is yet to be debunked by you is that the religion, and you have also come a little bit to my side, but not entirely, and that's fine, that is dogmatism, literalism, that's what stops you from scientific.
Right.
And this is how I'm seeing it, because my understanding of Islam, is literalism. I agree with you. Because I don't think. Punchline.
Punchline. I like it. Punchline.
Because Islam would not have needed these later thinkers to tell you what the real Islam is. Prophet Muhammad, the one who knew everything about the religion and what he was told by God, he should have told us. He should not have said these silly things, which you probably don't believe in, the dates and poison, Allah's thrown underwater, all of these things. So he should have told us, not modern thinkers, not freaking Ibn Rushd or...
So I think I want to move on to the next part, which is... So what
the next part we were going to talk about, then you drag me back into scientific.
My friend. I just wanted to say now that I want to move on to... Because what we are actually asking is, should the Islamic world embrace atheism? That's kind of the question. And so in your book, you talk about how nothing is good from religion, right? Because that's religion blocks science.
Exclusively. I use the word exclusively.
So you said, quote, I fail to see anything good comes from the baggage of religion. This is on page 54. Then you debunk the idea that religions defenders will say, they'll say that, but you say that there's no good from religion, right? So
in another place in my book, I actually specifically added the word exclusively. This is one of my very strong arguments. I think you probably missed that.
But the point is though, I want to share with you, not that you're going to agree with me, and that's not the purpose. The purpose is for you to see a rational argument and say, oh, I can see how you could come to that.
To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.